Sutra 1.33, which is the 33rd Sutra of the first Pada of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. So this sutra talks about 4 virtues or 4 qualities we can cultivate in our mind so that we have a constantly undisturbed, calm state of mind. So what are these 4 qualities? The first one is Maitri. Maitri means friendliness. Friendliness towards who? Towards those who are happy. Am I hearing you say, but why do I have to cultivate friendliness towards the happy? Because if we really look at ourselves, typically if we are not very happy and we see others who are happy, we feel hostile towards them. We feel they are on the side of happy people and we are on the side of unhappy people, and their happiness tends to irritate us. Amazing that Rishi Patanjali so many years ago had this kind of deep insight into human mind to discover how we think and how beautifully we can change to something else. There is a subtle program in our consciousness which feels that if somebody else gets more, we are getting less. A feeling of why am I being excluded from this happiness? But it's beautiful to remember that human happiness is so fragile. A person perfectly happy today could lose everything tomorrow. Instead of resenting that person's happiness, let me feel friendly. Actually, let me catch that unfriendliness when it comes up and change it to feeling happy. That at least one of my kind is happy today in this world where so many people are so miserable. The second quality Rishi Patanjali talks about is Karuna. Karuna is compassion. Compassion towards who? Towards those who are suffering. Now, typically if we examine ourselves, when we see suffering, many times it irritates us. We'd rather not be around people who suffer as if their suffering will pull us down, or it fills us with fear. What if it happens to me? And I don't like to be with that person because it brings me face to face with my fear. Somebody has beautifully said that when your fear touches somebody's pain, it becomes pity. Then you keep thinking, I hope it doesn't happen to me. But when your love touches somebody's pain, that is compassion. And that is strong. It has no weakness in it. A beautiful example of compassion comes to my mind. It happened with my yoga teacher's wife, Rashmi. So once my yoga teacher, Jahangir Palkhiwala, and his wife were driving past a particular road where Rashmi saw this little kitten who had lost its mother and it was crying. And Rashmi got out and fed the kitten some milk. And her husband told her, today you're feeding it milk, but you're not going to pass this way every day. Tomorrow what happens? And she said something which to me epitomizes compassion. She said, today I will feed the kitten, tomorrow somebody else will. Now, if Rashmi didn't have this wisdom, she'd have felt too overwhelmed to help. But compassion doesn't mean that it's your responsibility to completely heal the person. You have to do your bit for the person with complete love in your heart, with the feeling that I'll do my best and the universe will do the rest. So that is Karuna, compassion towards those who suffer. The third virtue is Mudita, or joy. Joy in the success and virtue of another. And when I teach children, most of them tell me that this is the most difficult for them, because we often feel that goodness is a limited commodity. We feel if goodness, success goes to somebody else, somehow we are being deprived of it. But the world is a magical place where there's infinite space for goodness, for everyone to shine, just the way a garden has a season for every flower to blossom. And somebody else's shine does not subtract from my potential to shine. That's just faulty conditioning. For example, if I'm very good at something like swimming or writing, or even I have a virtue like I'm a very good listener and I help people by listening to them and calming them down, and I see somebody else having the same strength or the same virtue, usually I don't like it. It makes me shrink. It makes me feel like threatened about it. But that's just conditioning. I can decondition it. I'll share with you a beautiful story of a student of mine, Sanaya. So Sanaya she became a lawyer, and she was appearing for interviews to get jobs. And she was telling me that she and her friend were helping each other prepare for the interview, though both of them were appearing for the same interview. And I wanted to just see how deep yoga had gone into Sanaya. So I played the devil's advocate and asked her, but if you really help her, maybe she'll get the job and you won't. And Sanaya's answer made me very happy indeed. She said that we are not on a racetrack. She has her own path, which life has kept for her. I have my own path. What's mine will know my face and come to me. What's due to me will come to me. What's due to her will go to her. Why should I spoil my friendship with her by being jealous or threatened or holding back? And I think this is really sowing the seeds of mudita, joy in the success of another, feeling unthreatened by the success of another. The fourth virtue is upeksha, or indifference towards the wicked. Now, most of us feel that if somebody is nasty to me, I must hit back. I must take revenge, otherwise I'm a doormat. At one level, true. But isn't there also a great truth in Gandhiji's words, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind? What do you achieve by fighting back? You get more and more rattled, the person gets more and more rattled, and no solution really comes. It's like we've worked with tuning forks in our physics lab. If there's one tuning fork which is vibrating like this and another adjacent tuning fork comes, both start vibrating. Okay, so both, if this is one person who's angry and vibrating with anger, and the other person also starts vibrating with anger, anger just grows and there's no solution. But if this is an angry tuning fork and this tuning fork is a yogi tuning fork, and it decides that I'm not going to get disturbed, and this keeps vibrating, after a while the stillness of this tuning fork will come to this, and this will also calm down. This is a truth that if you confront negativity in any person anchored in your peace, your calm, somehow the negativity dispels. And then out of complete calm, you take action. As a rule, don't respond when you're angry. You must take action, but take action when you're calm. There's a beautiful story regarding this. There was once a sage who was sitting in deep meditation, and a passing dacoit got irritated to see the peace on the sage's face because he was being chased. So he shook the sage awake and said, "Monk, do you know who I am? I am somebody who can chop off your head without batting an eyelid." The sage opened his eyes, smiled and said, "And do you know who I am? I am somebody who can have my head chopped off without batting an eyelid." The peace in the sage shook the dacoit so much that he just left without troubling the sage anymore. So, coming to the whole sutra, Maitri towards who? Towards Sukh, people with Sukh. Karuna towards who? People who have unhappiness, Dukkha. Mudita towards who? Towards those who have a virtue or success, Punya. And Upeksha towards who? Those who have wickedness or apunya. So the whole sutra goes Maitri, Karuna, Muditopekshanam. Now if you join Mudita, Upeksha doesn't sound good on the ear. So the Sandhi rule will make it Muditopekshanam to make it nicer on the ears. Muditopekshanam, Sukha Dukkha Punya Vishayanam, Bhavnatash. Bhavnata is to foster, to cultivate. Chitta Prasadanam. If you cultivate these four qualities, your mind becomes like a prasad, something holy and sacred for yourself and for everyone else. So Chitta Prasadanam is a calm, undisturbed state of mind. Now, like all other sutras, if you learn to chant it, you'll never have to mug it up. So hear it and we'll chant it once together. Maitri Karuna Muditopekshana Sukha Dukkha Punya Vishayana Bhavanata Chitta Prasadana. Now chant with me. Maitri Karuna Muditopekshana Sukha Dukkha Punya Vishayana Bhavanata Chitta Prasadana. Namaste.